Hello everyone, this is Super Dimensional Bun. Today I'll be doing a review on P-Bandai's 1/144 scale high grade Genoace O Custom. This kit was released in 2025 and retails for 1,800 yen or 22 US dollars. That's the P-Bandai price. So, as I mentioned, this is a P-Bandai kit, so you can only get this online or through a secondhand store. Yeah, so this is a new, this is a surprising new release for 2025. As yeah, Gundam Age was back in 2011, and I have to admit I've never expected this kit to ever be released. Yeah, it's based off the 2011 Genoace that was originally produced when the series aired, and has some new parts. I am definitely very pleasantly surprised that this kit came out. Something I wanted for a very long time. Never expected that they would ever produce it, since it's been 14 years since the original series aired, and they never produced it until now. So, having that said, let's get on with the review. So, yeah, this kit came in a plain colored box, as most P Bandais do. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't really expand on that, but anyway, yeah. So very bare bones. Instructions don't have any color pictures on them. Yeah, very basic kits, but see, pretty awesome. Anyway, in my opinion, at least. It came in three colors, or four colors essentially: white, blue, gray, and clear visor parts. Very little painting needs to be done, but we'll get into that later. So, yeah, this is the upgraded Genoace. Most of the parts came from the original Genoace, with some Genoace 2 parts as well, and then the new sprue for the shoulders. The new parts, I guess, the head, the shoulders, the backpack, and the weapons. That's right. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the details up close. So I've panel lined this and done a little painting, but in general, there's not much work that needs to be done to make this kit look great. Here is the new upgraded backpack and shoulder armor. See all these thrusters on the back. Alright. Everything else is pretty much from the original Genoace. The colors, you can see here, the new nice blue. Not very bright color blue, but yeah, it definitely fits. Mostly whites. I know the original Genoace came in a kind of a tannish color, so yeah, definitely an improvement. Yeah, let's go on to the articulation. As you can see here, the shoulders are connected by ball joints, so you can see there's a bit of a gap there. But you can definitely turn them 360. Now they're connected by the polycap ball joints, which have hinges, so you can move the shoulders forward, which looks a little odd, but maybe in certain poses you need it. You can also bend them back, no problem turning around 360. You can see the arms go out only 90 degrees, but with the extra articulation from the ball joints, you can move them up a little higher. Head can turn 360 with a little bit of trouble, but you can do it. All right, that's, I guess, the shoulders really hindering some of that. Ooh, what was that? Oh, that's probably the the face guard, I guess, or what do you say, knocking up against the shoulders. All right, let's get the arms back down. So the arms can twist 360 from the bicep area, and then you can bend the arms a little more than 90 degrees. Now the wrists have some articulation as well, besides the hands with the ball joints and whatnot. This little wrist connector does turn just slightly. All right, maybe 30 degrees. Okay, now the waist has some ab crunch going on there. It's connected by two ball joints, one here and one down there. But it's also, see, it twists a little bit. Oops. It just popped right out. No big deal. Just popped that right in. So I guess other people have noted that the ball joint that connects or that allows this twisting motion does get a little loose, and it does make it a little floppy. So one solution there is to add some nail polish to the plastic parts, not the poly caps. So I'll probably have to disassemble this kit and do that some off camera, of course. The waist armor or the side skirts do go up and down, so you can actually do some splits. Pretty good articulation there. I hope I got that in camera. Anyway, but flap does not move at all. Now, legs can only go up about 45 degrees in a straight pose, mainly because this bar in the front kind of hinders some of the movement. Backwards goes much better, almost 90 degrees there. Okay, legs can twist. Only all the way, yeah, not 100%, but you know what, that doesn't matter. Legs can bend beyond 90 degrees, so really nice there. All right, now the feet now has a lot of, can really angle really well. So you could do some pretty wide splits, even though I don't know why you would do that, but there's that. But the forward and back, it's not too good. This large cover bumps up against the back of the legs, so you can't do some poses that you like. Let's say, yeah, there's some limited articulation with the posing on the legs, so you can't give this thing a kneeling pose because it's just the front leg, front forward, and the knee does not, or the ankle does not bend enough to give you that kneeling pose. But that's, yeah, that's, I would say, our old technology. This is just the limitations of the design. All right, so an average amount of articulation right there. All right, so let's go on to the accessories. I know this thing's kind of posing issues, but anyway, you get the regular Genoace shield with the heat spike. Now this thing doesn't really fit in very well. If you push too much, you know, it pops right out. It's not very secure, so you might want to add something, maybe put some nail polish in there or something to give it a little more thickness. Yeah, and instructions say to keep this, show that, you know, the spike still stays on, so I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to look. You can, of course, always take this out and pop this out somehow. All right, you get an extra hand, left hand, for, you know, more expression. And then you have the Dodge rifle. So this is really detailed, pretty nice. This is the only thing I used the sticker on, right there. Oh yeah, and you also get, of course, now these are really old, antiquated beam saber clear parts from 2005. This came with this design came with the old seed kits. So it's not bad. It's just short compared to what you can get with most high grades nowadays. That being said, I have some from more modern high grade kits. So yeah, put that in the hand, and they fit pretty securely in the hand themselves. So pretty nice. You know, you can go either way. I mean, this is good for, I guess, the stab posings, but this longer one looks better, in my opinion. All right, so what else? Well, let's go ahead and put these on. So these accessories, the rifle, the shield, both fit in to the forearms, which have polycaps to secure them. So yeah, this rifle does fit in pretty snugly in 2 points. One in the hand, which, you know, you can see here doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room, let's say. And then there's a little tab that goes into the forearm. So you gotta be careful not bending these things too much. I guess you gotta be more careful about taking it out than putting it in. But There's that. You can put the cover back on like so. And there you go. Yeah, so let's get to the comparisons. So this is a pretty average size kit. Here it is with the Adele. And let's put the clanch next to it. As you can see, they are pretty average in heights. All right. Good amount of details. I mean, the legs do have quite a bit of details in them comparatively. I had to say this rifle is way more detailed than the clanches. You can see there's very minimal amount of detail there. Maybe because they rushed to put this thing out. I have no idea. Okay. Then let's also compare this to what people call a grandpa. All right. And also the Gundam Age 3 orbital. So shorter than the orbital, but just about about on par, slightly shorter than the RX-78. Okay. Of course, last but not least, you've got the 1-to-1 scale ruler. All right, so you can see here, this thing is about 12.5 centimeters tall from feet to head. All right, so final thoughts. Yeah, I think I really love this kit. I think the design looks great. I think the colors fit really well as well. If you ask my wife, those are probably my favorite colors, and she's not wrong. So anyway, I think it's well designed, well balanced in a sense. Its blockiness feels right in the sense that design wise, it has a good harmony of blockiness. Let's say there's not a lot of rounded parts. There's lots of nice angles, lots of detail as well. You can see there's lots of panel lines as well. Definitely, this kit or the series came out right after 00 Gundam, and they use, I guess, a lot of the same mecha designers, so a lot of influence there. The colors look great. Let's see. Yeah, even being that a lot of these parts were from the 2011 kit, you could definitely feel kind of like the history of Gunpla in that sense. They use a lot of polycaps, a lot of usage of that. There's like 2 polycaps in the forearms plus 1 in the elbow. So this kit came with a lot of polycaps. The big sheet of polycaps that before they started cutting back on that. There are some disappointing parts of it, I think, is in the legs, right? So it bumps up against this little front skirt armor / bar, and also the ankles. You can't bend them back and forth very well. A kneeling pose would have been nice, but design limits right there. It was a bit of a unique build. Some design choices were definitely different from what you're normally used to in most Gunpla, specifically around the legs, and I guess the elbows too. So that was interesting. So that's a unique build in that sense. I think a lot of thrusters. The profile in this looks awesome too. What else? A lot of design features in it. The Dodge rifle looks great. I've never expected this kit to ever be produced. I think I wanted it back in 2011 and all, but was very disappointed that they never produced it. Very surprised that it came out as a P-Bandai, and well worth it. I think if you're an HGAGE fan, this is a definite buy. I think this is the one kit I think deserved being produced many years ago, which was very disappointing. Like I said, was disappointed at the time, but very happy that it came out. I think it's much better than the Clanch custom. It has more detail. It definitely has, being that they've made some tweaks, I guess, to shoulders and head and whatnot for 2025. you know, it's much more well balanced and better looking, in my opinion. So yeah, I think it's a good buy for 2025. Probably the only new high grade kit I'll quote unquote new high grade kit that I'll buy in 2025. But yeah, well worth the wait. Anyway, that's my take on it. I hope you found this informative. Tune in again whenever I produce another video, whatever that will be. But I will see you then. Take care.